Sorry, my phone, like, turned off. But here we go, I'm back. So, he's like, I'll kill that fucking kid. I'll kill him. I'll get him, as he's scratching his neck angrily, as we skip to, like, after the whole shit, Deck is in deep shit, because, he fucking killed the dude, you know. So, even though he was protecting, like, his classmates, he still is, like, in deep shit. And, they're like, you don't have your provisional license, blah, 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 this, that, and all this shit happens, and, Deku, um, goes to jail. You might be thinking, what the fuck? Deku goes to jail? And yeah, he does. What happens is Deku goes to jail, but before he goes to jail, something happens. Uraraka comes up to him and says, before you leave, I want to tell you something. And, he's like, whatever, because he really doesn't care. And, Uraraka says, I love you. This shocking Deku, like, completely, because, like, he's done, like, nothing for anybody to like him, in his opinion, he thought, like, everybody hated him, and he's like, uh, he's like, as all of a sudden he feels, like, this buttery feeling in his, like, chest, and he's like, I, I, I like you too, as, hold on, I gotta pause, because I gotta say some shit to somebody. So, as Uraka kisses him, and, he, goes, he's like, I'm sorry, but, he tells her, like, I'm sorry, but will you wait for me? Uraka's like, yeah, of course, as he goes, and he puts his hand behind his back, and, he goes to jail. As this happens, like, they have, like, the jury and everything, and they're like, for your like, murder, you will be sentenced to, uh, 5, uh, 5 years in prison, and, everybody's shocked, like, what the fuck, this dude protected, okay, but they're like, the court was already ordered, as that happened, and, he's in jail for 5 years. Sorry, not 5 years. He's 15. So yeah, he's in jail for 3 years. Sorry, 2 years. Sorry, not. Oh fuck, 4 years because of good behavior and shit. But while he was in that prison, he obviously couldn't fucking use his quirk, otherwise that would be pointless. So what they did was they put quirk restraining shit that even though that wouldn't do anything, he like pretended that it didn't allow him to use his quirk, so he worked out his physical body, so his physical body stronger, as even All Might and I have been coming to visit him throughout the 5 years, have been saying, like, how bullshit this is, like, you shouldn't have, like, gotten, like, 5 years, all of the media thinks Deku didn't deserve it, but, that happened. But, when that does, he gets out of prison at 14, at, like, after 4 years, Nobody knows, because, they all think he's still going to be in jail for 1 year, because they didn't know, like, what was going on with that. So, Deku's like, what could I do to surprise Uraka, my sensei, and All Might? As he starts to think, and he's like, I mean, I do have some money, because he does have money, like, he's, like, obviously, his family's not poor, but, he's not in the most wealthy state, so, yeah, hold on, somebody needs me. So, he's like, what can I do? As he thinks, and he's like, I got it. As, he goes to the store and buys flowers for Uraka. He buys freaking, he buys me sushi, and he buys All Might, like, whatever All Might would like. So, he grabs whatever All Might would like, he grabs this, whatever All Might would like, and he goes and he jumps through, like, he sneaks in, through the dorms, as he's like, hey, because here, UA is not a high school, like, not just a high school, it's a college. So, so right now, he's, 20. So yeah, Izuku's 20 right now. Like all canon people are 20. So yeah. What's happening right now is he walks in and says, "Hey, everybody's surprised, but they don't like stutter for a second, and they all run and give Izuku a hug and says, "Welcome back. We missed you. Blah blah blah. They all visited him. But they still like obviously miss him. And Jonah's like, I miss you guys too. Throughout the when he was in jail, he had a time to, like, reflect on his life, and he realized being, like, depressed and all wasn't, like, worth it and all. So he's changed, like, to be more happy and shit. So, like, I missed you guys too. And he's like, where's Toxic? And they're like, oh, he's on the rooftop. And he's like, sighs, and he's like, I have to go up the stairs. As he's gained a bit of my personality, as they're like sensei like students, as Deku's like, what? As they say nothing, I didn't say anything, he's like, he laughs and starts to walk up the stairs, and he goes and says, hey, what's up, sensei? And I'm like, hey, yo, bro, you out? I thought you had like another year. And he's like, nah, I got out on good behavior. As like, he's like, damn. As like, I'm like, come here, bro, give me a hug. As he gives me a hug. Like, oh, I got you something. And he hands me sushi. I'm like, this is why you're my best student. As I start to cry and say, will you marry me? And it's like, hey yo, bro, okay, it's just sushi, okay, it's just sushi, okay. As I'm like, but you got me sushi, marry me. As Izuku starts to laugh, and I start to laugh, and he says, I miss your humor. As Izuku says, I miss your humor, and he's like, and I'm like, yeah, I know, I'm perfect. As Izuku's like, no, you're not. As I'm like, remember, I can see into the future, dude. I can see into the future. Don't even, bro. As he's like, oh yeah. So, we skip to freaking, him giving his shit to Uraka. He knocks on Uraka's dorm, and, he hears, harder, harder, harder. As all of a sudden, he hears, recipient nut. And he's like, what the fuck? As he opens the door, and Uraka's in there by herself, as, what happened was, he kind of thought that Uraka was cheating on him for no reason, it just played on his head. So, he's like, hey, Uraka, he's like, hey, and she's like, Izuku, all shocked and shit because she didn't expect him to be back. And, they have a lovey-dovey moment, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how to explain it. I ain't good with feelies, They have a lovey-dovey moment, and they're like, I love you, blah, blah, blah. As, we skip to, we skip, like, a couple years. We skip a year. So now Izuku is 21, the legal age to drink. I'm just going to say it's 21 because I don't know what it is in Japan. So yeah, he's 21. So he's able to drink alcohol, and he's like, hey, yo, it's my 21st birthday, and I might as well go out. He's been spending less time with Uraka, but he has been spending time with her, like, the freaking training course has been getting a lot harder on him, and, he's almost ready to inherit One for All, As all of us, he goes out to drink, and, he sees so obviously he doesn't just go out to drink by himself, he brings his girlfriend at that time, which is Uraka, and, he brings freaking everybody else, he's like, hey, drinks on me tonight, So as this happens, they're all drinking, as all of a sudden,